Hello, hello. What's up, YouTube? Hope you guys are doing well. About to go live here on Instagram too, so I can get as many people tuned in as possible. What's up, Instagram? How's my beautiful people doing? How's my beautiful YouTubers doing? I am live here for your weekly energy report. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, checking me out. Please go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And go ahead and if you're on Instagram, download my free ebook there. The link is in the bio. Guys, so much going on. And, this energy coming into April is massive. What's up, Reese? How you doing, brother? What's going on, everybody? What's up, Leslie? So happy you guys are joining me on here. So, I think we all need to take a step back from all the things that we're getting sucked into, because this energy is so powerful, right? We are in the middle of this massive, just unknown, next level transformative energy. And since we've had our normal routines basically stripped from us right now, everybody is just tuning in to social media and YouTube and the news and more news and TV and all this bullshit that, granted, I'm on here on YouTube and Instagram talking to you guys right now. And it's very interesting to see how everyone is responding to these circumstances and all this information. There is so much misinformation out there. Look, the fact is, and I've been saying this for months, okay, we cannot get too wrapped up in what everybody else is saying. We have to shift the focus to what our heart is saying. Because let's face it, there is so much propaganda and so much bullshit out there. We don't know what to believe right now, okay? They say that hospitals are at capacity and all these people are there, and then we have other journalists that are going there while they're saying they're packed and showing that it's not packed. Okay, we have people with these testing procedures and these numbers going all over the place. One side saying that all these people are sick, the other side saying it's bullshit. What do you believe? The key here is that we have to believe what we feel is right. Okay, because all this stuff, there are so many agendas going on here. There's no way. I personally believe that there is some truth to all of it, but all of it does not contain all the truth. It's important to really understand and see that. So the fact is, we're all being pulled out of our comfort zones. Our hospital has a very low census. I don't know what a very low census means, but I will say that I've been to a few around, and there's nothing going on. In fact, everybody I talk to, everybody feels fine. And the incubation period, yeah, okay, I get it. But the fact is that, influenza, having a cough or respiratory issue, it happens every now and then people, they lay around. What's going on, brother? They lay around and they take care of themselves for a week. Their immune system fights it off. You get a fever because the rise in temperature kills off the virus and the bacteria, and then you get better and you go on with your day and your body builds a natural immunity to it. Okay. And that's normal everyday practices. That's with everyone. Okay. Okay. Much fewer patients. Exactly. The situation is not as dire as it seems, but with the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, Jupiter is creating this big spotlight on all this Pluto kind of stuff. Now, what does Pluto represent? Pluto represents the deep unconscious that we are all feeling, and that is normally unconscious, okay? But it's coming up from the surface. So all this stuff, those of you that have been working on your stuff and doing the personal development stuff and, and sitting with, plant medicines and doing personal development courses and meditating and doing yoga, doing all these things for the last few years because you felt deep down that there's just some bigger reason why you need to do this. Well, this is the beginning of understanding that bigger reason, okay? Because if you think about it, if you are an empath, right, or a starseed or a light worker or whatever label that you want to put on it, okay, you've been in chaos most of your life. Okay. What I mean by that is emotionally, mentally, you felt something's wrong. You felt something's going on, that there's just something not right. And that we've had to face all these internal chaotic feelings and things that don't make sense. And through working through these things that don't make sense, we have come to understand ourselves in a much deeper way than most other people. All right. I believe that we are the chosen ones, and I think we're about, 1/3 to 1/4 of the population right now. But we are the ones that are meant to teach and to show, be the way showers for other people that are very soon going to come to realize that, life, reality, the matrix is a complete fucking illusion. It's a lie. And people are starting to realize, like, wow. Now, here's the thing, though. When people come, like, if you remember when you had your cracking of the shell, so to speak, right? When you had all this stuff come up and you felt like you're in a bad psychological thriller, right? Like you don't really know what the hell's going on. All of a sudden you lose your identity, totally just thrown into left field, like life makes no sense. That's what millions of people are going into right now. And some people can't handle it. Some people don't know how to process it. Now, we didn't know how to process it back when it happened. For me, it happened like 12 years ago, right? But when I was in that process, I felt like I was going fucking crazy. Now, a lot of people are feeling that way right now, and that's all this darkness coming up, but it is happening at such a massive level that these aspects in astrology that are going on right now are like, bam. And now we have all these different aspects of this information that is coming up. And some people, a lot of people are getting lost in the details, are getting lost in the confusion of what is real and what is not, what makes sense and what doesn't, what is logical, what is practical, and what is energetically, sound. All this stuff has some validity to it, right? And, so it's, we have to tune into ourselves and tune out of all the external stuff, because that's where people are losing it. That's where people are going down these rabbit holes, both ways. Whether you believe in the whole QAnon thing or whether you believe that this whole thing is bullshit and that we need to stay home to stay safe, okay? Each side has its own separate thing. But what I do encourage you to do is go within and see what feels right, one. And number two, do your freaking research. But when you do your research, go to multiple sources, okay? Really, what I prefer to do is take a step back and talk to people that I know and trust that have education and information, okay? That's the age of Aquarius. That's the direction we're going into, okay? Dealing with people that we trust, that we can look you in the eye and we can say, yes, I feel that you are telling the truth. There's something about you. It just feels right. That's your intuition guiding you, okay? But when we come back, because look, these fact checker places and even Wikipedia and these different sources that are supposed to be trusted, it's been proven that they cannot be trusted. There is so many whistleblowers and so much shit coming out that is showing that these things cannot be trusted. So we have to really be careful and look at what the information that we're receiving and how it's affecting our psyche, because this is all about dividing belief systems. The 3D and 5D worlds are separating completely right now. So people in the 3D are looking at people in 5D like we're absolutely fucking crazy. And the people in the 5D are looking at the 3D like you guys are freaking crazy. Now, I consider myself to be ascending to the 5th dimension. Now, neither is good or bad. That's sort of like, I believe, the labels that we put onto it. The fact is where you feel you're meant to be is where you feel like you're meant to be. Now, I know that I have gone through enough pain and suffering to last multiple lifetimes. So I prefer to come from a place of love and peace and understanding in my heart. And if you're more cerebral, that's okay. Like whatever you feel is right for you, you have to be true and honest with yourself. But the thing is that make sure that you're following your own truth. Everyone has their own truth. So stick to your own. And if you don't know what that is, if you're in these situations right now and you're going out of your mind, you're distracting yourself, you're trying to like I know a lot of people right now are like having quarantine parties, which is kind of counterintuitive and paradoxical, if you ask me. So you're getting together and you're getting fucked up, which is weakening your immune system, to party with people you don't know where they've been Like, this is beyond worrying about STDs, guys. This is like now, but what I'm really making sure that I'm being steady on is my energy. It's not so much I'm not so much worried about like this whole viral activity, because I know my body is healthy and strong. Okay. And I know, and I can feel when something is wrong or out of whack. What I am very conscious of right now is the panic and the fear, because people are carrying around this panic like it's a virus. The real virus, in my opinion, is the panic. And if we surround ourselves, so say like you get caught up in a debate about the panic, about the situation going on, and you're going down, well, I saw this and this is what we have to do and this is how it has to be because this is what, no. Okay, I don't agree with that. All right, too many things just don't add up. So if you look at different sources, like David Wilcox is a good one. Like that's the only person on the top of my head I can think of, but go with the resources that you feel make sense, okay? And then go from there. So right now, today, we are in this massive, just super heightened vibration with Jupiter and Pluto exactly conjunct and Saturn and Mars exactly conjunct at 0 degrees of Aquarius. And Mercury just came out of shadow. So now we are literally fully into this new energy, and Mercury is coming towards Neptune. So Neptune and Mercury together, I have that conjunct in my chart. That can be delusion and confusion. That can be like fantasy, like having these fantasies in your mind, or having these like this really, like, I see a big picture, I see a big vision, but I don't see the steps. I don't understand like the little details. So we're seeing this big picture right now. And astrologically speaking, this is everybody seeing the big picture, everybody seeing these numbers that are flashing all over the place, and just instilling this feeling within that is very foreign, because none of us have ever been through an experience like this. None of us were, born during, the pandemic at the beginning of the 1900s. And I have a feeling, I bet you, that if we could time travel back then, some similar scandalous shit was going on back then too. Now, they say that 50 to 100 million people died back then from the flu. Now, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. But everything that we've been taught, I can promise you, has some sort of tweak to it to make humanity believe in something, and leaving out some very important details, much like how Nikola Tesla back 100 years ago, he had the formula to create free energy. What happened? He got shunned, he got his shit taken from him, and eventually he just died with nothing to show for it, really, other than his word and, being carried down from generation to generation. Imagine, just think for a second, imagine if for 100 years we've actually had free energy, how different the world would be. All right. We have had people, truth speakers and truth seekers, that have been attempting to raise the vibration in this world for a long, long time. And the greed and the hostility and the power hungry people have been overcoming this. And it's time to end that shit. It's time to really, for the light workers, for us, for the people that see through the bullshit, for the people that have stepped away from the matrix, to stand up and change this world. Okay. Now, right now we have a massive opportunity to really dig deep within and see what our bigger purpose is in all this. But if we're distracting ourselves, and if we're not tuning in to the central part of ourselves, and we're all uncomfortable, like, let's face it, okay? In some way, shape, or form, we're all very uncomfortable. And, so how are you distracting your distractions? Like, are you at home and just, trying to distract yourself from being bored all day long? Or are you actually like looking into these things, these creative projects, or cleaning out your house, doing something that could be productive in the way that can be, all right, to prepare for what's coming? Because I'll tell you what, guys, if you're planning on things going back to normal, you need to think again. There is no more normal. That is gone. We are moving into the age of Aquarius. And there's also talk about this blackout that's going to be happening here in the next week to 2 weeks. Okay, right around the same time as Easter, which is ironic and very interesting, considering, this is the end of the age of Pisces. Jesus began the age of Pisces. Now we're coming to the end of it. And literally right around the same time where Jesus was resurrected or whatnot, we may have a complete internet blackout and then come to after or around Easter to signify the real beginning of the Aquarian age. All right. I'm at war between staying home and paying bills that are unforgiving. I assume you meant unforgiving. And look, I feel you. Everybody right now has some very, unknown situations going on. But, that's where we have to look at it. And are we going to keep playing the game like we have been? Or are we going to get creative with resolutions? Right now, you can, especially with bills and stuff, you can call the different places and different things. And, because nobody's working. I millions of people this month are not going to pay rent because they're not going to have the money. So what's going to happen to the people that have the properties? They're not going to be able to pay their bills and so on. It's going to ripple effect, so on and so forth. And that's where this whole stimulus bill comes into play. But the stimulus bill, I'm a little weary about it, okay? Because there's going to be stipulations and expectations to it, especially with Saturn and Mars, which are two malefics conjunct at 0 degrees Aquarius. This is saying like, okay, these control measures are coming in, and are you going to take that fight or flight fear response and add it to being like sucked in to the control dynamics that they're going to try to keep instilling and be in place from that Capricorn energy? Or yes, this is a time to connect with your higher self, 100%. Okay, but I will say with Mercury coming closer to the conjunction of Neptune, it's still going to be, what's up, Gina? It's going to be very confusing, and there's going to be a lot of emotions that are still floating around that we don't quite understand. And all this new Aquarian energy is sort of getting downloaded into our experience, and it's coming in a way that we have to really more address our emotional understanding or emotional activation to the unknown. We have to create a new relationship with the unknown. That is how we master ourselves right now. And we have today, in particular, we have the moon in Cancer as well. So, the moon is going to be going over the North Node in Cancer, which we're coming to the end of this lesson, which is saying like, okay, we need to emotionally feel our way into where we're going, what direction we're going in our life, but it's also quincunx to Mars. So with Mars quincunx to the North Node, it's like we want to move forward, we want to figure out the next step and anticipate, but we just don't know how. It's all very confusing right now. So if you're in a place where you're on social media and looking at people posting shit and you're like, shit, well, fuck, they're wrong, and fuck, you're doing this wrong, and you need to stay home, and you need to stay safe, and you need to stop lying, and you need to stop saying this. Dude, fuck that shit. Step back and chill out. Because the last thing we need, this is a dispersal, psycho-spiritual warfare. They're trying to get us to be confused, to fight with one another. Okay? These belief systems are spreading us apart. We need to come together with a humanitarian in us. Say, okay, everybody has different opinions and different ideas of what's going on. What can we do right now to help? What can we do right now to support the higher vibration? Which, if you guys don't know, April 4th, Saturday, I believe, okay, at 7:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, there's this thing going around the internet. There's going to be a mass meditation. I highly, highly encourage every single one of you to look into that and be a part of it, okay? If we get 1 million people to meditate at the same time, okay, meditate just sitting there and deep breathing and clearing your mind, grounding yourself, and just feeling into the love and gratitude for humanity, and to lift the veil completely and allow us to be free of this panic and this fear. If we all pitch in and do this, then we will be able to really dramatically affect the entire collective unconscious, okay? The meditation is a very Neptunian energy, okay? And with Neptune coming into 20 degrees pretty soon, we're going to start to experience some crazy, weird, next level supernatural shit. It's going to be really intense, okay? Use binaural beats if you have to, use whatever you can or whatever you enjoy to really get yourself in the zone, but ground out and really feel into the vibration of love and peace and gratitude. Okay. So let's go into tomorrow. We have April 1st. We have the moon that's still going to be in Cancer. Okay. And it's going to be directly opposing Jupiter, Pluto, and then Saturn and Mars as well. So, with that energy coming up, and we have Venus coming up to the very end of Taurus as well, and it's trining over. It's going to be coming closer. It's in between Pluto and Saturn now. It's going to be exactly trying to Saturn here in the next couple of days. So, this energy is very beneficial for really grounding out the structure of how we want to love humanity and like how we want to feel, like really looking at being honest with ourselves about what makes us feel good and what makes us feel fulfilled in our role in humanity. Right now, it's all about really stepping into our humanitarian and creating new structures and new understandings psychologically, emotionally, and personally, right? Because however we feel about ourselves is how we feel about the world right now. So if you're like all anxietied out, or if you're trying to force anything right now, it ain't gonna work. You need to just take a step back and find what you love, what passion, what drives you, what makes you feel good inside. That the people that are doing what they love to do are the ones that are going to have abundance. Bottom line, if you're coming from your heart, this is all this energy is saying. Be vulnerable with yourself. Dive deep into your emotional wounds and your emotional body and see and identify what really drives you in the bigger picture of humanity. And I guarantee every single person I've done an astrology reading for ever, every single person has a mission in humanity in this life. Everybody does. I guarantee anybody that I look at their chart, I can tell you what that is. Okay. And we need to, if you don't know it, hit me up for a reading and I will help you. I will show you what it is. Okay. Then it's your responsibility to take that and go forward into it. Okay. We all need to live our purpose right now. This last few years has been everything that's been happening. All the crazy changes have been designed to bring us towards our gifts and to bring us towards our life purpose. So if you're still if you were working because you're just trying to make money, you're just trying to make ends meet, you just need more abundance, all right, Kat, sounds good. Hell yeah. That is where you're going to be wrong right now. And let's face it, right now, like a lot of people, they don't have the option anymore. It's been stripped away. Why? Okay. Like I'm doing what I love and things are still going, with gratitude. And I'm very grateful that things are still going, but I've been listening to my intuition. And for many years, it didn't make any sense. I had to go through some really deep, dark times and go through a lot of confusing things to really fully understand my emotional self and what was driving me and work through all these deep pains. And a lot of people have all this deep, dark shit coming up with this Jupiter and Pluto energy. We have to face it. If you want to figure yourself out, you have to face these deep, dark energies. Also, Chiron is still and will be loosely square to the nodes for the next couple weeks here. It has been for the last couple weeks too. That is feeling called but terrified about your destiny, where you're meant to go and what you need to let go of. This is needing to dig into that vulnerability. And okay, hey, look, no bullshit. This is what I need to do. This is where we need to go. So let's make it happen. And you have to feel the fear and do it anyways. Okay, that's what this energy is all about. All right, April 2nd, we have the moon now going into Leo. And so now this energy, the moon's going to be trine over to the sun and to Chiron. So this is putting a spotlight on that vulnerability, but also on that action. Like we want to make shit happen. We want to bring things forward. Venus today is at 29 degrees, which is a master number in the sign that it rules. So this is a very powerful position for understanding this new structure, loving the self, learning to go forward with love and gratitude, allowing ourselves to receive in our five senses is also like, us really wanting some sexy time. You know what I mean? Like everybody right now is really just craving to be, to be understood, to be held, to have someone close to them, because this this fear, this uncertainty, it sort of makes you feel that, you know, you might be alone in all this. There's a certain aspect of loneliness here that is coming up to be purified, to be seen and expressed. And we have to make sure that we don't express that in compensating or negative ways. Okay. This is like really like all about getting in touch with that inner child and looking at our ego for what it is. Like, you know what? Okay, I'm lonely. I want companionship. I want to feel held. I want to feel nurtured. Okay, how do we do that for ourselves? If we're not nurturing ourselves, then really we try to get someone else to nurture us, and it's just gonna, you know, end in awkward learned lessons. And we don't need any more awkward learned lessons. Okay. We also have Mercury now here. It's going to be conjunct, I believe, on April 3rd. Okay, so now we have Venus at 0 degrees of Gemini, which now it is in shadow. Okay, because Venus is going to go retrograde in Gemini. So think about as that next big energy, which I'm going to make a video about this too. Next month, Venus will go retrograde in Gemini. So this is all about, like, you know, understanding our connection to ourselves, understanding our connection to communication with other people, about understanding our relationship to money and to finances and to relationships. Okay. And seeing what do we need to do to really, what kind of unhealthy habits we have, what kind of things are we doing to hold ourselves back. All right. And with this right here, you know, this is stimulating a desire, a need for stabilization, and this is going to be going on until almost August. Okay, the end of July, where it's going to be teaching us massive lessons about, you know, communication, about like really shifting the way that currency is going may change. I have a feeling that bartering is going to come back in a big way, especially with so many people out of work now. People are going to be offering services for services and time and, you know, and energy in different ways, because, you know, we're going to have to figure it out. There's so many people that our whole economy is going to change. Okay. And today we have, you know, Mercury and Neptune exactly conjunct. I believe that this is going to be the peak of all the crazy shit that we're going to see about the Rona. Okay. Because Neptune represents like the respiratory system, and also represents illness, mental and physical illness. And being in Pisces, you know, like it's also addiction and, you know, illusion and delusion. So don't trust what you see. All this energy right here, it's misleading you. It's misguiding you in this. But, you know, Neptune is also about surrender. So when we surrender control and we trust what we feel, as opposed to trusting what we see, all right, you see something and you're like, something ain't right about that. I don't know what it is. Let's not speculate. Let's go ahead and take a sit back and look within and feel it for what it is. Okay. And now with Mars cruising through Aquarius, okay, that's going to be semi-square over to this Neptune and Mercury. And the Neptune and Mercury is also going to be semi-square over to Uranus, which is all this crazy like change coming out of nowhere. What the hell's going on? I don't know what to think about this. So a lot of confusion, a lot of delusion on that day, you know, and the way that we do like get through this is we have to ground out, and we just have to stay in communication with the people that we love, the people that make us feel safe. But the ultimate guide here is to feel safe within ourselves. And that's difficult right now, especially we have some other difficult, you know, angles here. The moon is going to be quincunx over to the Neptune and Mercury. So this is emotionally, we're just going to feel lost. We're going to feel confused. We're going to feel like, am I dreaming or is this really happening? Like that's sort of the theme for this week is going on. But we can choose to tune into that lost. Is this, you know, this really weird, I don't know what the hell to do. All these emotions coming up. I've never felt these things before. I feel so alone. I feel so vulnerable. Okay. The vulnerability is what we have to accept. We have to embrace. Okay. But with the Pluto Jupiter conjunction, that is saying, hey, you look at this, you let it go through you, you process the emotions, you be honest with yourself, you will make it through, and it will make you stronger. This is a period of time not to just relax and like stay away from dealing with emotions. This is a time to go into your emotions. This is a time to go into yourself. and you'll get the answers that you are seeking, but but it's on the other side of that vulnerability. You see what I'm saying? We have to go into the vulnerability and let this earthquake shake us up. And it's not really giving us an option right now, especially if we have this total blackout and we don't have internet, we don't have phone. You can't even watch movies on that are streaming. You'll have to go to like a DVD or like a VHS or something, right? So that's where shit's going to get real, because the people that aren't aware, they're going to completely fucking freak out. Okay? Yeah, ew, vulnerability. But that's legit. That's where your power is right now. Pluto represents power. Dysfunctional power has been what's been controlling so far. What we need to do is embrace the vulnerability, because vulnerability is the higher vibration power. That is where we thrive. And that is where we gain our momentum from. So we step into that vulnerability and we take it like, all right, I feel weak and I feel like a little bitch, but you know what? I'm going to fucking step in it anyways. And people see that, they feel it. That's empathy. Vulnerability in power is empathy. And empathy is more powerful than anything else. Just look at Gary Vaynerchuk, right? Dude, super humble, dude, super successful. He just loves to help people and see people do good. And you're starting to see people that are empathic and that's standing in their power. They're gaining more attention and they're gaining more clout, because more and more people are feeling this vulnerability. And when people express their power through vulnerability, you can feel it. It's palpable. And the other people that are leading through fear or through like respect, those people are sort of like, you see them and they're like the high level people that have been in charge for a while, but you're starting to look at them like, you're suspect. Something ain't right about you. I'm not feeling that. They maybe used to be intimidating, these authority figures, right? But that intimidation is turning to suspicion. That's the shift of the energy. Okay. And there's a different global meditation on the same day at 6:11 UTC. I don't know what time UTC is, but okay, 6:11 is, so whatever UTC is, 6:11 a.m. on Saturday. Okay, so that day is going to be, because that day is essentially, that's the last day that the Pluto Jupiter conjunction ends, where Jupiter passes Pluto, and there's a portal opening on that day. And well, I should say it's opening and then closing, right? So being able to set the intention. Oh, universe time. Okay, thank you. So pretty much anytime, I think in that day, that's what I'm just intuitively getting right now. Anytime on April 4th, that Saturday, sit and meditate and just send the intention of love and peace and, vulnerability out into the world. And I believe that that's going to have a massive, massive ripple effect in the energetics, because everything that look, everybody can feel it. You go into the grocery store, man, it's eerie. Like, you have some people wearing masks, some people wearing like face guards, gloves. Then, you have some people look at them like they're lepers. Then you have those people looking at us that just walk around without it, like we're lepers. Look, I know the human body very well. I understand viruses. I understand bacteria. I understand how this whole thing plays out and how it all works. That's why I'm not worried. But it's when you don't know and when you're ignorant. And when I say ignorant, it's not a bad thing. It's ignorance, just you don't know, right? And now with all the information coming out, you're getting so much misinformation, so much partial information that you know even less. I've gone through, I've studied this stuff for years, so I get it and I understand. So if anybody is interested or has specific questions about what's going on here, I will do my best to answer. And if not, I will guide you towards sources and resources that I know and help you out along your way. Okay. So on April 4th, okay, here we go. So April 4th, we have a yod. All right. So this yod is the energy that is sort of opening up this gateway. All right. A yod is also known as the finger of God in astrology. Okay. This is a very significant aspect. And so let's go into this yod here for a minute. We have it. The moon is the learning point, and this is at 4 degrees of Virgo. Now, Virgo is also known as the virgin, like the original virgin. Okay, so emotionally, this is purification of our emotions. So meditating on this day, purifying our emotions. I mean, like, you just can't make this shit up. Here, another point for astrology, right? So how ironic, it's quincunx over to Chiron, and the Chiron is sextile over to Mars. So this is actually processing and bringing out the vulnerability of the divine masculine energy. Okay, Mars represents our divine masculinity. It's in Aquarius. We're entering the Aquarian age. This is, I feel, the final purge of the divine toxic masculinity. And we all have divine masculine, divine feminine energy. What does that mean? So divine masculinity represents how we go out into the world. It represents our drive, our passion, our focus, our structure, the scaffolding of our lives. Okay? Chiron is the deepest vulnerability that's within us. And while it's in Aries at 5 degrees, which is also numerologically number of change. Okay? So it's quincunx over to the moon. This is saying that we need to dive deep into this vulnerability, which is what I just been saying. All right, we need to dive deep into this, the way that we go out into life, the way that we process and proceed into the structure of our lives, and see where we're self-sabotaging, where we're being a victim, and where we are selling ourselves short, and face this feeling and be honest with ourselves and purge it. Okay. Now, a lot of us are already experiencing a ton of ascension symptoms. Okay. And the ascension symptoms are like this, basically the same as flu symptoms. So we have a lot of people that are sort of hypochondriacs right now. Like, let's be honest. All right. So there's a lot of levels of things going on. If you think about it, when the entire world is all tuned in to the same thing, this virus, right? This pandemic, when everybody is tuned into the same thing, it's like a meditation for fear. So the entire world is concentrating on this negative shit. So they say one person out of I think it's 1 person out of 100,000 can, if they raise their vibration, they'll shift the vibration of that 100,000. Well, we get this million people in this vulnerable state to clear their mind and to be able to embrace this vulnerability. Then that is going to allow us to really shift this vibration and let go of this toxic masculinity, and allow this deeper level of healing to come in worldwide to all of the collective unconscious, and allow this Jupiter-Pluto aspect to really maximize the healing benefit, because this is the last day. This is the last day of that aspect. This is a huge, huge, huge potential for massive healing. Okay. And so we want to be able to take this opportunity to really go into this deep emotional vulnerability and feel it. And we feel it not by trying to do something, but by the absence of trying to do something, by sitting still in it. Literally had diarrhea all day today. It's been super intense since all this virus shit started. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Digestive issues can definitely happen from stress. I mean, stress is a motherfucker, right? So stress alone in and of itself can create, a lot of these bodily things, like people, can't sleep. Appetites change. People start eating too much or not enough. People start, fuck, I don't know what to do. I can't sit still. I can't do something. I'm tired, but I'm excited. All these different things up and down. This is where we have to get creative and try new things. And if you don't know what to do, just do something that you don't normally do. Change your state. Okay. No sleep is a very common one. Like I've been having issues with that here and there too. So, you can lay down, like what I do when I can't sleep. I lay down and I throw on some binaural beats, and I light some aromatherapy or some incense or something, and I just do some deep breathing. And if I feel like I'm gonna crawl out of my skin, I get up, I have something to eat, or I do push-ups, or I read a book, or I do something, to change my state again. And I get tired, I go back, I try it again. Or you can smoke pot, right? or you can, do rapé, or you can, well, I guess you can't really get a massage right now, but, go masturbate, right? That'll make you tired. It should. So there's a lot of things that you can do, like, to change things around, to change it up. So try something that you don't normally do. Try something different. The experience of doing something different will create a different response. And that's the point here. Okay. So April 4th is going to be a big day. It's going to be a vulnerable day, but necessary. And Venus is also going to be quincunx over to the South Node as well. So this is giving us a great opportunity to let go of some understandings that we have in relationship to arting, even if it's bad art. There we go. Yeah, masturbate. See, there you go. Yeah, so the dark night of the soul. Yeah. A lot of people are going through the dark night of the soul right now. If you are experiencing that dark night of the soul thing, there's lots of really good videos on YouTube that talk about it. But I want you to understand there are many phases of the dark night. Okay, and many people are going through this right now. This is actually a big part of why I'm creating the opportunity community, so that people that don't know what's going on and want to learn more about astrology, want to learn more about the ascension process, spiritual awakening symptoms, this whole nine, and to connect and communicate with other people going through the same kind of stuff. So if you want to be a part of my opportunity community, please go ahead and click the link in my bio on Instagram or on YouTube in the description box below. Download my free ebook, which I talk about 25 steps to navigate the ascension process. And you'll be put on my mailing list to look into this opportunity community that I'm creating. It's going to be super exciting. I can't wait. So, okay, we've been going through it for about 2 years. Everyone goes through it at their own different rate. I know some people that go through it for like a year. I went through mine for almost 10 years. Okay. So we're going to be going through this process, but the key is to link up and connect with others, because there are a lot of people right now that are going through this. Okay. So you're not alone. All right. First and foremost, you have to understand, like when I had my first massive cracking of the shell, I was in Iraq in the military, EOD, diffusing bombs for a living. And I didn't think that I was going to make it through. And I know if you're going through it, you may feel like you're not going to make it through, but I guarantee you the process of going through this is going to teach you that you are not in control, but there is a greater purpose for you, and that your higher self is in control, and it's guiding you through and then cracking you away or pulling you away from this ego-based identification in the world. It has 5 years, 7 to 8 years. Exactly. So you guys have been going through it for a while. So you guys have some experience to, contribute, which is huge. All right. And, like we all go through phases of this. And, right now, especially this month coming up, I'm actually about to, thank you, G. I appreciate that. This month, I'm getting ready to upload my April monthly energy astrology report. So you can check that out here probably about an hour after this is done. But this month coming up, things are going to get more intense, and things are going to shift around more and get more confusing and more weird and shift in more unexpected directions. And this is where we all have to come together, guys. We have to create these new communities, and we have to work together to build this love and this trust, because there are so many people on these other levels that are trying to divide us and get us to not trust each other and to not trust the process and to ascend. Okay, the powers that be are trying to keep us held down, but we can't let that happen. So we need to disconnect from the methods in which we used to learn and reconnect to the people, situations, experiences, and things that make you feel like, yeah, I'm resonating with you. Like, I feel you. Okay, we need to feel it. So trust that. Trust your gut, okay? So let's see here. April 4th, big day, meditate. Let's make it happen. And April 5th, now we have the sun exactly conjunct Black Moon Lilith in Aries. And now we have Jupiter, of course, now at 25 degrees that has surpassed Pluto. So now this Jupiter energy is going to start pulling away and start exposing more of that. Sarah, on the 4th, there is one going on at 6:11 Universal Time, 6:11 a.m. Universal Time. The one that I am going to definitely participate in is at 7:45 Pacific Standard Time. Okay. And there's like groups that you can connect if we still have internet access. There's groups that you can connect with on there. So just look around for it. Or I'll about it again, but I've been posting about it for last time. It's a collective 11 a.m. or p.m. or both. Okay. 11 and 11 a.m. or p.m. I like that. I like the sound of that. Yes. Lilith and Aries. Good Lord. So on the 5th, that's going to be like when Lilith is conjunct the sun, man, it's like, let's fuck. I'm lonely. I want to feel good. Can you explain the energy of Black Moon Lilith a little bit? That's the only thing in my first house. Well, so Black Moon Lilith works a little bit differently with men and women. With women, that's the energy that comes from them that goes out to the world, and it's a little bit like Lilith for women is sort of usually the dysfunctional ways in which they use their sexual energy until they learn how to master their own sexual energy. And now sexual energy is equivalent to creative energy, right? It's our Kundalini. So this is all about getting really in touch. This is about being really in touch with your divine sexuality. Okay. Like if you're shut down, if you had like any kind of trauma or, you feel weird about your sexuality, then it's going to come out. It's going to come out in some very suppressive ways. And it's like you have this desire that these needs that are just never being met but it's because you don't allow yourself to receive them. Okay. So, and for men, this is the kind of women that we attract in our lives, but it's also how we approach life from our place of sexuality too. Okay. So for me, okay, I'll take mine. I have my Lilith in my 3rd house. Okay. My 3rd house, communication. And it's in Cancer. So with that, I'm very emotional. All right. Like I'm sexually emotional. So like when I'm like into a chick, I look deep in their eyes and I can talk super sexy and I'm like super passionate and intimate and with my words, but also with my energy. Like my communication comes from my body and I am so super in tune with the human body that I tune into it and I feel it and I get really, really into it. I'm like super, super sensual. Being in the 1st house, you'll express it through your personality. So like, like some girls think that certain guys are just super sexy, like Brad Pitt back in the day, right? Brad Pitt back in the day, he used to be super, super sexy. My Mercury's in my 8th house, conjunct Neptune. So man, I just totally lost my train of thought. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. So Brad Pitt, right? So he expressed his sexuality in his body and like the way that his confidence, the way he moved, right? So depending on what house you have it in, I know, some more difficult placements are if Lilith is conjunct Chiron and if Lilith is conjunct, I'm sorry, in the 7th house, the 10th house, or the 4th house. Those are really like, oh man, you probably have some issues with one of your parents. 7th house, of course, having like deep, like you're going to invite significant others that are going to cheat. They're going to manipulate you. And you have to, I think I was blushing there for a minute. Yeah. So, I'm actually considering, and I want you guys let me know what you think. I think I might actually teach an astrology course. So I had a couple of people reach out to me that are interested. So let me know if that's something that you'd like to see. I may create a Of course. Yeah. You're just trying to astral travel and walk through walls. Well, good for you. That's huge. And I'm sure that you could probably do that right now. Hell yeah. Okay. So the last day of the week, April 6th, we are coming into the full moon in Libra. Man, can you believe it? We're already coming into the full moon. So this is going to be just about opposed to Chiron. Oh, yay. More Chiron energy, right? But you know, this is going to, again, look at relationships. And with Venus being in shadow as well, we're going to have to look, and Venus is going to be trying this this full moon. This is looking at, you know, this is looking at how we want to, these new ways that we want to be in relationships and how we're going to do that. And, you know, the sun is still kind of conjunct Black and Lilith there. So just, you know, be honest with yourself about relationships, what you want. Like if you just want to, you know, have something quick, then this virus time is going quick. It really, really fucking is. And the sense of time is getting really warped, isn't it? Like it's very, very, very strange. But that is this new dimension that we're being brought into. Okay. Very, very intense times. So I'm not gonna get into too much in the full moon energy, okay? Because I'm gonna make a separate video on that. But please check out my April monthly energy astrology report. And this week it's gonna be intense. The 4th is a very special day. So wherever you are, please share this with whoever you can. Meditate on that day. Throw on some liquid bloom. You know, do some rapé, or you know, smoke some weed or something. Just chill and just meditate, clear your mind, and set the intention for love and peace in your heart to spread throughout the world. Okay, and let's get rid of this friggin' fear and panic, because the fear and the panic is the problem. It is the virus. Okay, it's okay. So what happens on the 4th, there's a yod, and there's going to be a mass million-man meditation. So 7:45 p.m. Pacific Standard, 11 p.m. Eastern. Just look around. There's going to be memes and posts everywhere about it. So on the 4th, if nothing else, just find a time to meditate for as long as you can, and it's going to influence and impact the world in major ways. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Spiritual Bodybuilder, and please, if you haven't done so, go ahead and download my free ebook on my Instagram bio. And other than that, I love you guys so very much. I'm sending you all my best, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Check out my daily energy reports every day on Instagram and now on YouTube as well. And I'll see you guys soon. All right. Love you.